Down for a bit of bottle porn? Who isn't? Sit back, relax, and get the tissues out. Because you might weep at the sheer beauty on display here. What, you didn't think I meant... You dirty bastard! I need to start off by thanking Barry, aka Barry Onder, from the channel Sensualize. I'll leave his channel link in the description below the video, so go over there and check him out. He's a fellow UK content creator, so it's good to support each other. So Barry did this video and I thought, what a great idea, good fun idea. We spend so much of our time talking about how things smell and breaking fragrances down and talking about notes. I thought, just for a change, it might be nice just to talk simply about the presentation of some of the most unique and beautiful bottles that I have in my collection. I could have picked 100 bottles for this because, to be honest, even most designer bottles I find are quite unique. I don't think a brand really wants to enter into the market with a bottle that looks like another bottle. Sometimes due to costs, it can't be helped, but there are a lot of very unique bottles out there. So I've got 10 in this list and I've just tried to pick the bottles that I think have the most unique shapes and designs, but as I said, I could have included way more in here, and inevitably there will be fragrances that I don't include that are maybe your favourites or your favourite bottle design, which will prompt comments as to why is such and such not in the list. Well, if it's not here, it's either because I don't own it or I didn't include it because I just didn't. I'm going to start with a fragrance that was actually sent to me by mistake. I'd ordered something on eBay, can't remember what it was now, but this one was sent to me. I opened it up, I saw the presentation, I smelled it, and I thought, I'm going to keep it. From Haramain, this is Den Al Oud Cambodi. I love this rose gold lattice design. I don't know if you could see from the close-up, but you can see the glass through it, so it's a really kind of intricate design and must have been quite difficult to put together. It's certainly very unique. I've never seen any other bottle that looks like this. I'm sure they are out there, but this is the only one that I've seen. And even the way that the name of the fragrance is engraved and it's in a different colouring, I just think it looks really nice. It reminds me of some ancient artifact that you might find in a temple in a jungle somewhere. I just think it looks beautiful. The thing I like about Haramain is they have a new bottle design for every new fragrance, unless it's part of a pre-existing line like L'Aventure or the Portfolio series. So their design department must be working overtime. This is a very elegant bottle, very intricate design. I think it represents the fragrance well on the inside. It's a very elegant oud. It starts out as quite a strong oud, but then it settles down and it just becomes a beautiful, quite exotic smelling fragrance. And you can pick this up for pretty cheap. I think this was around £30 on eBay. So if you like the look of this bottle, jump on eBay, see if you can find it. There might be another design of this. I think it was released maybe in 2 different designs. So if you search for it, there might be another similar design which looks equally as unique. But Haramain's Den Al Oud Cambodi is my first very unique bottle. The next brand I'm going to mention is Atelier Dazzles, and sometimes when I hold one of their bottles, I don't know if I'm holding a fragrance bottle or a snow globe. Of course, in here, it's not snow. It's 24 karat gold, which is there to represent the golden age of French perfumery. I love the shape of the bottle. It's got this smooth, oval, rounded design, a very iconic cap shape. There aren't any other bottles on the market that remind me of this one. And then just very simply, the label is just inset into the glass. There's actually a little hollowed out section of the glass which the label sits in. And then on the back, we've got this beautiful radiant sun design, which is representative of the sun and symbolic apparently of the power and the light flowing through the fragrances. So all in all, it's a beautiful presentation. I think they've done a good job. It just feels great to hold in the hand, and you can spray your fragrance and then tip it up and enjoy the show. The next brand is Initio. I think all their bottles are pretty much the same, although they're slightly different colours, but this one does stand out from the rest. So from Initio, this is Oud for Greatness. It's the same chunky, weighty bottle design. I love the matte finish. I love the weight to this. What makes this one stand out from the others is the gold detailing. So it starts on one side, goes around the front onto the other side, and this is apparently sacred geometry to represent the forms found in nature, cellular structures and the universe. So it is a very eye-catching bottle. Again, this looks like some artifact from an ancient temple somewhere. Absolutely beautiful presentation, very unique, even better fragrance inside. The next brand is Argos Fragrances, and before you start writing in the comments, can I order this out of a catalogue? I didn't know Argos were making fragrances. Obviously, yes, there's a shop in the UK called Argos. This is nothing to do with that. There's always about 1,000 comments in every video when I'm talking about Argos fragrances. So I've mentioned it first. I'll save you the trouble. No need to mention it. I mean, feel free to mention it. I'm not going to stop you, but just know that there's another 999 people in the comments that have also mentioned the same thing. So up to you. This bottle is like a museum piece. It's really heavy. It's got this thick, chunky glass. Again, it's got a lot of weight to it. Each of these 3 bottles has a different design on the front, which represents the painting that has inspired each fragrance. This one is Brivido della Caccia. There's also Bacio Immortal and Triumph of Bacchus. And it's a tiny detail that you might not notice, but for me, it makes all the difference in terms of how well thought out this aesthetic is. And these plaques, beautiful in themselves, but they're not just stuck onto the front of the glass. The glass bottles have actually been custom made so that the plaque is inset into it, so as you brush your finger over the front of the bottle, it's flush with the front, which just is a really nice touch. And also you can see here the name is embossed into the glass. We've got Argos there. It's a very strong bottle design. It makes me think of strength and power, which is absolutely the idea, because I think that perfectly represents all 3 fragrances in this new line from Argos. The next one is a designer, or luxury designer to give it its proper name. So this is the Tom Ford Private Blend. I've got my bottle of Oud Wood here. These bottles, when I first saw them, before I'd purchased anything from Tom Ford, just reminded me of bottles in an old mysterious apothecary somewhere. It looked like some kind of alchemy had occurred to create these fragrances, and I guess many of you out there would agree that perhaps it has, because the Private Blend, I think, is fantastic. So it's not the most gaudy or bling of bottle designs, but I do love the shape. The cap is plastic, so nothing really special about the cap. I think it's a great design. I don't think it's been imitated or used by any other brand. I don't think Tom Ford were copying anyone when they came up with this bottle design. I actually prefer the look of these 50ml to the 100ml bottles. I think these 50ml bottles all lined up. You know, when you go to the Tom Ford boutiques or in duty free and you see all the private blends, the 50mls lined up, they just look great. Again, that ties into just smart marketing. It's the type of bottle that you want a few of them lined up on your shelf. I have a few, I won't mind a few more. I think of any brand, I would argue that these private blend bottles look the best when lined up on a shelf.
Join the Scent Geeks every Monday as we podcast about all things fragrance. You'll find us anywhere you can usually find a podcast. Links are in the description below this video. See you there, geeks.
When coming out with a new fragrance brand, it must be really difficult to find a unique design that hasn't been used before. I think it's also very costly as well, but George Zaharov has achieved it, because Zaharov Signature Pour Homme is a stunning bottle. It comes in 120ml, I can barely fit my hand around it, and it just has this beautiful Art Deco aesthetic. I love these strong lines. It's just a really strong shape, almost looks like an old building from that time period. I think this bottle looks powerful and assertive. I love the strong lines and angles on here. It makes me think of confidence and exuberance, which are 2 things that George Zaharov has in abundance. So I think this bottle perfectly represents George as a person, but also how this fragrance makes you feel when you wear it. So I've got to mention Creed. I think they have very unique bottles. I don't recall ever having seen any other bottle of fragrance look like this. We have this curved effect, has this hip flask kind of aesthetic, which I think is very cool. The shape is just very iconic. The silhouettes of these fragrances are instantly recognizable as Creed, very distinctive. I think the caps make them look very luxurious and regal until you pull it off and you realize it's just a cheap little bit of plastic. But nevertheless, it is still a unique bottle design. I think a few Creed bottles lined up on a shelf instantly make any collection look absolutely stunning. The first time I smelled a Nasamato bottle, I was instantly intrigued by this house. Before I'd even smelled anything from them, I just thought they looked very cool. So again, good marketing, right? It's just a simple 30ml glass flacon. I'm surprised that I can't think of any other houses that have a similar bottle design to this. I'm sure there are some, but I just can't think of any off the top of my head. Clean, simple lines tie in with the no-nonsense, ultra-modern concept of the brand. They're not trying to be bling, they're not trying to be luxurious, just very sleek, very cool. Of course, the standout feature of Nasamato bottles are the caps. Each cap is custom and different for every fragrance. So this is Baronda, which is quite a boozy fragrance. So we've got a cork cap, which I guess represents the cork in a bottle of booze. And when lined up, these fragrances just look like proper collector's items. You kind of just want to have them all lined up. I think on a shelf, not only do they look nice as bottles of fragrance, but from a decorative design perspective, I think they just look great in any room. They do look so sleek and cool. So it reminds me of when you were collecting toys as a kid. You wanted to get the whole range and you weren't happy until you'd got the whole range of what it was you were collecting. And if you're thinking that, okay, it looks nice but not very practical if you want to take these bottles somewhere because those caps could easily come off, Nasamato have you covered. Again, very cool design. They come in each box when you buy these new, a plastic cap. So you take the big flamboyant cap off, pop this little cap on, it clicks into place. Dead easy to travel with, does not take up much space at all, and no chance of that juice leaking out all over your underpants. The next one is Tower Perfumes. I only have one bottle from them. It is the masterpiece that is Atelier Dazzles Marocaine. And again, these bottles have an apothecary feel, or maybe it looks like a bottle that could contain some kind of magic potion. In fact, I think Atelier Dazzles Marocaine is pretty much a magic potion. I think it's just superbly well made. So thank you, Andy, for this one. So we've got this blue bottle. We've got the name of Tower embossed again onto the front, which just gives it this tremendously classy touch. I even like the simplicity of this label that is just stuck onto the shoulder, and the number folds over onto the front of the bottle, the number that aligns with the fragrance, in this case number 2. The whole thing just feels like it's been carefully and meticulously crafted, much like the fragrance itself. The last one I've got for you is another magic potion type bottle design. It is not Centauri Perfumes. Barry did mention that in his video, so I haven't mentioned it here, although I do think Peter's bottles are exquisite and unique. But because Barry mentioned it, I thought I'd stick to different fragrances. So the brand here is Renier. Each fragrance comes in a different color. All the bottles are translucent, so they have a really nice aesthetic to them. Again, you can see that we've got the name of the brand very classily embossed into the bottle, and the cap here, it's not plastic like a Creed. We've actually got a heavy metal cap, and on the cap we have the name of the brand engraved into the front, and then on top of the cap embossed on there is the logo of the brand. Overall, very well crafted, very classy bottle design, and this is just a little thing, but from an ergonomic point of view, I just love how it perfectly just fits in your hand, the weight of it, the shape of it. It just seems like it was custom made to fit into my hand. I even love this texture on the bottom here. I'm not quite sure why it's there, but I kind of like feeling it. It just feels nice. Anyway, I think this is super classy, very unique design. Well done, Renier Perfumes. All right, so there we are, a video full of what I think are very unique bottle designs. I love all of them. If you have any bottles that you think are super unique in your collection, do let me know. I think most of us will have unique bottles, but still point them out. Let me know what your favorites are. What is your #1 favorite bottle design? Let me know that. Also, I have to tag somebody, so I don't really know many people to tag, so I'm just going to tag one person in this, and this person has an immense collection. I think this person has so many fragrances that he will be able to produce some absolutely fantastic, stunningly presented, unique bottle designs. That person is Joe Sent Me. Joe, this will give you an excuse to get out there back on YouTube. We don't get enough YouTube videos these days. I was watching your channel before I started mine. You were one of my inspirations, so I would love to see you making more YouTube content. I know that you're very active on Instagram, but I love what you do on YouTube as well. So over to you, Joe. Let's see some of your most unique bottle designs. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video, a little bit different. Thank you very much for watching. Remember, keep tuning into FM and keep smelling good.